Most painters believe that brushwork begins the moment bristles touch the canvas. And that's understandable because that's when we actually see the stroke happening. But by that point, most of the important decisions have already been made. Brushwork actually begins on the palette. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to talk about a common misunderstanding about brushwork and introduce a pretty unique concept that I developed, the notion of positive versus negative brushstroke. Before we get there, it's important to understand what exactly is brushwork. Before the brush ever reaches the surface of the canvas, several things have already happened on the palette. And these things are inherently part of the brushwork, like what brush you chose, how much paint you picked up, how evenly it's distributed across the bristles, whether the paint sits on the tip or is buried deep in the belly of the brush, whether you pressed hard into the pile or gently skimmed the surface with the tip. All of this determines what kind of mark you are physically capable of making. If you think about it, painting is a little bit like moving matter from one surface to another. It's a transfer of material. To understand this notion, I really want you to visualize this displacement of material. You pick some paint from the palette to place it on the canvas. And when you press your brush into a pile of paint, you're not just picking some up, you're deciding how much paint will be transferred, how long the stroke will last before it runs dry, whether the stroke will feel full or creamy or thin and scratchy. All of this is decision making that you do before the brush touches the canvas. And here is something subtle but crucial to understand. The palette is where you refine the brush before it even touches the canvas. For example, you can remove the excess paint by lightly dragging the brush across a clean area of your palette, so that when you apply the stroke on the canvas, there is slightly less paint in the bristles. You can also shape the bristles into some sort of a chisel edge with the brush. You can rotate the brush to control how the paint sits. All of this is part of the brushwork. In other words, the palette is not just where colors are mixed, it's where the strokes are engineered. Once you understand that brushwork starts on the palette, something shifts in your brain. You begin thinking ahead, and this is where you start to play the difficult game of predicting how the stroke is going to turn up. What brush you chose, how much paint you load, how much of the bristles do you drag into the pile of paint, how many times you press the palette, how firmly you press, whether you twist, drag, or scoop. All of that determines what will happen on the canvas before you even make the stroke. Predicting here is the name of the game, but it's also what makes painting so challenging. A lot of beginners think that there is something wrong in their palette mixing, but what they really lack is this predictability in their brush strokes. And if it's your case, if you think that you can never predict exactly what's going to happen, I have some unfortunate news for you. I can't give you a set of instructions to teach you how to predict your canvas strokes from the moment you pick up the paint on the palette. There is some extremely complex fluid physics at play here, and it would just be impossible to formulate. And let's imagine that we can find the exact formula to predict with precision how a stroke is going to be. Would that still be art? I don't believe so. But rest assured, it's not something one teaches, but it is something one learns with direct experience and repetition. So you will learn how to predict your brushstrokes from experience. What can help though is if you have this idea that I'm going to tell you about of positive versus negative brushstrokes. If you keep this idea in mind, it can really help you. So let's talk about it. So I came up with this pretty simple idea. Positive versus negative brushstrokes. A positive brushstroke is when an area has more paint after the brush touches it than before. It deposits, it builds, it adds substance. Most of the time, this is what we think of as painting. Laying down a stroke that creates form, establishes light, creates opacity, defines an edge, pushes color forward. Ideally, that's what you want when laying down a stroke on the canvas. you're depositing paint, you're stating something, you're committing, you're building up and increasing the thickness of the paint layer. That's how it normally goes. With a negative brushstroke, it is the opposite. The area has less paint after the brush touches it. And this is something that typically happens mostly on the palette when you're picking up paint. That's at least the normal way to use negative strokes. However, the most creative and experienced artists can find ways to use brushstrokes negatively on the canvas to expand the range of their brushwork. It's a more rare thing, but it happens. On the palette, this is normal. You're shaping, refining, cleaning the brush. On the canvas, it becomes a more subtractive tool, lifting excess paint, softening an edge, reducing thickness, or revealing a lower layer of the paint. The important thing is not choosing one over the other. The important is knowing which one you are doing in a given moment. Many beginners perform negative strokes on the canvas without realizing it. They think that they're adding paint, but what they're actually doing is scrubbing, thinning, or spreading a very limited amount of paint. The result is paint that will feel weak, underpowered, muddy. The surface becomes overworked, not because of too much paint, but because of too many uncontrolled negative actions. So the paint starts to actually be depleted from the surface. If the brush sucks more paint from your canvas than you had before, it doesn't matter how well you mix on your palette, it will still be a subtractive action, leaving your canvas with less than it had before. But here's where it gets interesting. Once you become conscious of the difference, you can start combining both deliberately, and that's where creativity really begins. For example, you may lay down a confident positive strokes to establish a highlight, then with a lighter touch and less paint on the brush. Again, the more you stroke, the less paint there is on your brush because your brush starts to get depleted of the paint that it once had. So the more strokes you apply on the canvas, the more you tend towards the negative side of brushwork. It's imaginable that we add paint and then subtract paint from the same area with the same sequence of brushstrokes. We can also use a pretty cool example of negative brushstroke is, for example, when you deposit a small quantity of paint but it looks too strong because it's too opaque. So then you take a clean hog bristle brush and spread the pigments around to make the colors less strong. By spreading the pigment, you haven't technically removed any paint from the canvas, but the pigments are less concentrated. So spreading in that sense is a negative action. Or a third example, we can consider scumbling. We lightly drag a relatively dry brush over a darker underlayer, and technically we are adding paint, but because the brush is slightly underloaded and the pressure is very light, the effect is partial, so it sits between positive and negative. Scumbling just deposits enough paint to catch the texture of the grain of the canvas while allowing the lower layer to be visible through it. And when you're doing that, I really want you to visualize this tension between negative and positive. What are you adding to your canvas and what are you taking away? And are you doing a little bit of both at the same time? Final example is impasto. Impasto painting often relies on strong, very positive strokes, bold deposits of paint. It's almost like picking up a huge chunk of paint on the palette and just depositing it on the canvas. In contrast, you have subtle portrait modeling where you might want to rely on micro adjustments and actually remove tiny subtractive touches that would refine the transitions without building anything. You know, imagine doing a portrait really in the style of Da Vinci and you're next to the final layer. The amount of paint that you have on your palette is ridiculously low, and yet you do those very, very subtle touches where you barely touch the canvas with paint anymore, but you just drag it across, spread it so that it feels more soft and even. This means that positive and negative strokes are valid and fit depending on the situation. What matters is your intention and your awareness of whether you're adding paint or taking some away. Think of positive and negative not as opposites, but as poles of a spectrum. Most strokes sit somewhere in between. A fully loaded brush pressed firmly in the canvas to create a strong impasto would be strongly positive, and a fully empty brush that is just used to do a certain kind of blending is completely negative. And between those two extremes lies an entire universe of surface possibilities. And this is also where personal style really starts to show up. Some painters live closer to the positive pole with decisive, kind of sculptural, unapologetic, big brushstrokes, very visible brushstrokes, think Sargent-like. Others want to operate with a much broader range with a combination of positive and negative to create, the perfect surface that doesn't have any trace. A surface that doesn't have an appearance of being a painted object, but that looks exactly like the thing it tries to represent, something more tight, more atmospheric, and with very subtle traces of the artist's hand. Think Bouguereau. Neither is superior, it really depends on what you want to create. The difference lies in control. What you want to avoid is accidental brushwork, accidental subtraction when actually you meant to build. There's another cool idea in this notion, is that there is no fundamental difference between the palette and the canvas. They are both surfaces where paint is added, removed, adjusted, and redistributed. The only real difference is the intention. Your intention should align with your strokes. On the palette, negative strokes are your allies. You remove excess, you refine the load, you prepare the brush, and you can even have a little preview of what the stroke will look like on the canvas just by dragging it on the palette. So that when it touches the canvas, the strokes can be positive, intentional, and controlled. On the canvas, unless you consciously want to subtract, most of your strokes should technically add something, and if they don't, it's not because you didn't mix enough paint, it's because the brush wasn't properly prepared upstream. It probably means that you need to go back to the palette to pick up some more of this juicy paint that your canvas is craving. If you think that this is a recurring problem, take a big post-it note, place it next to your canvas and write this on it. No more than 3. Never apply more than 3 strokes before going back to the palette for more paint. And this little reminder should guarantee that you'll never exhaust your surface from the paint it needs. Of course, this is just if you lack positive strokes. And I mention it because it's the most common problem, let's face it. But if you want to do strokes that have a negative action, then of course the process will be very different and you can forget about this note. But the key is that once you understand whether a stroke adds or removes paint, color suddenly becomes easier to control. And really this is where the fun starts, because this tension between positive and negative is where you can find a full range of exploration. This is where art lies, and this is where style emerges. How much paint you pick up, with what angle, how hard you press, how fast, how soft. There's an infinite spectrum between positive and negative strokes, from thick impasto to feather-like scumbles. And exploring that range consciously is how painters develop a personal touch, and you can spend your entire career exploring this in-between area, and you would still need another lifetime before you run out of ideas. So next time you feel that you didn't mix enough paint, pause for a second, look at your brush and ask yourself what kind of stroke you're actually making, positive or negative, and maybe the solution to your problem is finding the right spot in between, because brushwork isn't just what happens when the bristles touch the canvas, it's a chain of decisions, and it starts on the palette. In your next chain of decisions, it might be a very smart one to watch this video next.